ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति द्विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ इत्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ॐ इति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् Page 277. यथा सौम्य पुरुषं गन्धारेभ्यः अभिदद्धाक्षं आनीय तं ततः अतिजने विसृजेत् स यथा तत्र प्राङ्वा उदङ्वा अधराङ्वा प्रत्यङ्वा प्रध्मायित अभिनद्दाक्षः आनीतः अभिनद्दाक्षो विसृष्टः तस्य यथा विनहनं प्रमुच्य प्रब्रूयात् एतां दिशं गन्धाराः एतां दिशं व्रजेति। स ग्रामात् ग्रामं पृच्छन् पंडितो मेधावी गन्धारान् एव उपसम्पद्येत। एवमेव इह आचार्यवान् पुरुषो वेद तस्य तावदेव चिरं यावन्न विमोक्ष्ये अथ संपत्स्ये इति। Yatha Somya, he is Somya, pleasing one. Yatha Purusham Gandhairebhya Abhinadaksham Aniya Dravyaharta Taskaraha. Some thief who has robbed him of all his wealth, he brings somebody from the country of Gandhara, Abhinadaksham, with blindfolded, eyes blindfolded, and hands tied behind him. Tam tataha atijane visrujet, and he has been left in absolutely a solitude place where there is no presence of human beings. Sayatha tatra prangva udangva adharangva pratyangva pradmaita. Now, what else can he do other than shouting in the eastern direction, southern direction, northern direction, western direction? Around his shout, what does he shout? Abhinadaksha anitaha. I've been brought here with my eyes blindfolded. Abhinadaksha visrushtaha. Been left here also with the eyes blindfolded. Tasya yada abhinanam pramuchya prabruyat. Because of his good luck, some kind person happens to come by. Yatha abhinahanam pramuchya prabruyat. And that kind person unties his bondage. In the same manner it was tied, unties that. Prabruyat, and would tell him, Itam disham gandharaha. Because this person says, Gandharebhya anitaha, I've been brought, Abhinadaksha, been brought from Gandhara. So this person says, in this northern direction or the country of Gandhara, Etam Visham Vrajayati, may you proceed in this direction. Sa Grama Sa Pandito Medhavi. This person happens to be both Pandita as well as Medhavi. Who is Pandita? One who received the instruction of which direction to go to. Medhavi, also capable of implementing that instruction in the practical life. Paropadishta grama praveshamarga avadharana samartha. So from the description of the path that is given, he is able to determine that this is the path. They were saying this will be the signpost on the path. Yes, this is that church, this is that temple, this is that hill, etc. So, paropadishta grama praveshamarga avadharana samartha. Otherwise, even if he is told, go to Gandhara in this direction, if he doesn't know that he is going the right path, he may not be able to make it. But here as he goes along, he is able to ascertain, yet this is the right path. The right signs are there. So, Panditaha Medhavi. Two adjectives are used for this person who received the instructions. Gandharan eva upasampadhyeta. He indeed reaches Gandhara and nowhere else. Because of the instruction as well as because of his own inner insight of following that instruction. Evameha Acharyavan Purusho Veda. So from this story, the point was that if Sat or Brahman cannot be known by the available means of knowledge, namely perception, inference, etc., but it is there. It is there as a Jagat Karanam, the very cause of creation. And the material cause, Upadana Karanam, is always present wherever the effect is. Wherever the pot is, the clay is present. Wherever cloth is, the cotton is present. So wherever the creation is, name and form is, Sat, Brahman is present. But we can't see it. The difference between the cloth and cotton is that when you see the cloth, you see the cotton also. When you see the ornament, you see the gold also. In this case, however, even when you see the world or creation or name and form, you do not see the asti, bhati, priyam, the sat, chit, ananda, which is the adhisthana, which is the material cause. Because there are two kinds of material cause, the parinami upadana karanam, like the cotton for the cloth, where the upadana karanam, material cause, undergoes change to become the effect. Therefore you can see where the effect is, you can see the parinami upadana karanam. Other is the vivarta upadana karanam, like the snake superimposed upon the rope. You see the snake, you do not see the rope. So you see the name and form, but asti bhati priyam or satchit anandhi vivarta upadana karanam. Meaning that the names, the creation or names and forms are superimposed. So that adhishthanam asti bhati priyam, without undergoing any change, this name and form is superimposed. It appears as the universe. So universe of names and forms is an appearance. It is name and form, is mithya. So Satyam is not visible to us. We know that the mithya cannot exist without the substratum of Satyam. The actor cannot be without the beggar cannot be without the actor. The pot cannot be without the clay. And the snake cannot be without the rope. How to see? So just as in case of that salt water, the salt is very much present in the water, but then you cannot see it. Now you can know it by touch, or you know it by the sense of smell. Here also, what is that means of knowledge by which Sat can be known? Acharyavan Purusho Veda, the answer is given. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. There is no way that you can know it on your own. With the means of knowledge available to you, there is no way that you can know it. Because we have an orientation of knowing or investigating. So usual method of investigation that we have is to look for the cause in where the effect is. So the names and forms are there. That's why you look for asti bhati priyam. That's our orientation. And so a scientist will take matter and split it and subdivide it and subdivide it and subdivide it to find out what is the reality of that matter. But that method does not work here. So the conventional method of investigation of the truth does not work here. Because what you are investigating is mithya. And the truth is satyam, not the same degree of reality. What you are investigating is the object, the name and form. And what's the truth? Truth is the very self. So therefore, and self can never be perceived, cannot be visualized or cannot be objectified by the known means of knowledge. Therefore, so normal method of investigation is to objectify what it is that you want to understand. You say the scientist objectifies matter and applies his own method of investigation, in this case, so subdividing and subdividing to find the fundamental building block which they call God particle. But still, as long as that God particle is different from you, you have not known the truth. You know the God particle, but not what you want to know, namely the substratum or the very essence of that anima. Esha anima, the subtle essence you have not known. So Acharya is required. Tvam dashmosi. Just the 10th man is searching with the 10th man. Because of the conclusion that I am not the 10th man is different from me, and so also the conclusion that I am not God, I am not Brahman is different from me. And therefore, searching for Brahman in place other than oneself. Like लहर ढूंढे नहर को, कपड़ा ढूंढे सूद, जीव ढूंढे ब्रह्म को, तीनों ऊत के ऊत. And so the wave is trying to find water, and the cloth is trying to find cotton, and so also the jiva is trying to find Brahman. Conclusion that Brahman is different from me. Therefore, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. You need an Acharya, you need a teacher. Achanotija Shastrartham. One who has very well accumulated and understood the Shastra. Then Paran Acharyatyapi. So Sthapayatyapi. One who is able to also make other people follow that Acharan. Or Acharya Sthapayatyapi, Swayam Acharate Yasmat, and one who also follows it himself. So he knows the scriptures, one who is able to live by the scriptures, and one who is capable of also making others see that. That's important. Acharya, he is called Acharya. So Acharyavan Purusho Veda. That Purusha, he alone acquires knowledge and not somebody else. Because the Acharya is to make this person see that look, what you're looking for is not to be found outside of yourself. It's to be found as yourself, and therefore the method of finding is different. It's no more objectifying what you want to know. You know it, you have to know it as the very essence of the subject. This is a meditation upon the meditator. And so, yan manasa namanute yena ahur manomatam tade viddhitvam tade brahmatvam viddhi. That which cannot be thought of by the mind, but because which the mind thinks. Yadvacha anabhiditam yena vak abhyudyate. That which cannot be expressed by the speech or revealed by that, because of which the speech is able to reveal. So since what we are investigating is unique, and therefore the method of investigation and matter of knowledge also is something unique, quite unconventional, which one would never suspect. So Acharyavan Purusho Veda. So that's what Bhashyakara is explaining. Of course, in tasya tavadevacharam yavandavamokshe ata sampatsye. This wise person has to wait only so long as his body does not drop off, and then he becomes one with Sat, Videha Mukti. So Parobudishta Grama Pravesh Marga Avdharana Samardasan Gandharanev Upasampadhyeda Naitaraha Mudamatihi Deshantara Darshana Trudva. Mudamati, with his mind deluded, so he is given instruction one way and does something else. That's Mudamati. Go to the north and he goes in the south. Look for this signpost and he looks for something else. Or Deshantara Darshana Trudva. Or one, even though he listens to instruction, understands the instruction, but doesn't follow them because he has the intention of going to some other place. Then he cannot reach Gandhara. Now on the page 278, continuing with the last line of the Bhashya, last word. Says Abhinava Narayananandendra, what is Drishtantam Buddhi Saukarya, or as Anandagiri says, Vyakhyatam Drishtantam Sopaskaram Anuvadati Yatha Ityadina. Vyakhyatam Drishtantam Drishtanta already has been explained by Bhashyakara. But Anuvadati, he explains it again, he reiterates that, describes as Sopaskaram along with Upaskara. Upaskara means to make the Drishtanta complete, to understand, get the lesson out of the Drishtanta. Bhashyakara explains it again. Yatha Ityadina. Yatha ayam drishtanto varnitaha savishebhyaha gandharebhyaha purushaha taskaraihi abhinadakshaha avivekaha dingmudha asanaya pipasadiman Vyagra taskaradi aneka bhaya anartha vratayutam aranyam praveshitaha dukkhartaha vikroshan bandhanebhyo mumukshuhu tishthate saha kasanchideva Karmikena Kenachita Mokshitaha Swadeshan Gandharan Eva Apannaha Nirvrataha Sukhi Abhur. So Bhashyakara provides Upaskara, all the other missing details he provides to make this illustration complete. Because that is illustrated. The Drishtanta is given for Darshtanta. Illustration is given for understanding what is illustrated. What is illustrated is ourselves, the Jiva. So therefore, that we can understand how this illustration applies to us in the day-to-day life. Bhashyakara provides the, fills up the blanks, missing portions, and completes that Drishtanta to be able to make it compatible to Darshtanta. Yatha ayam Drishtanto varnitaha, just as this illustration has been described. So, what is Drishtanta? Buddhi Saukaryartham Punasangruhit Darshayati. This is how Narayanananda says. Buddhi Saukaryartham. For us to understand it easily or simply. Punasangruhit Darshayati. The Drishtanta is shown, is described again. Sangruhya. In brief, again, Bhashyakara explains for understanding it clearly. So, Swamishebhya, Gandharebhya, Purusha, Taskarehi, Abhinadakshaha, Praveshitaha, that's what it is. Purusha, some individual, some person. Swamishebhya, Gandharebhya, from his own country, which is Gandhara. Taskarehi aranyam praveshitaha. This person is brought to an aranya or a forest by taskarehi, by the thieves or the robbers. How has he been brought? Abhinadakshaha, with his eyes blindfolded. Avivekaha, viveka or discrimination is lost. Dingmuraha. He does not now, has no idea from which direction he came. If his eyes were not blindfolded, then you would have seen how he is coming, then he can go back the same way. But he's brought his eyes blindfolded and left also blindfolded. So ding mudaha, one who has lost complete sense of the direction, avivekaha. So one who does not have viveka or discrimination of which is the right direction, which is not the right direction. In that process, when he is brought, there is suffering involved. If being blindfolded and left in a forest did not involve any suffering or pain, then perhaps he may not mind. But here, as the time goes, ashanaya pipa asadiman, the fellow is hungry and thirsty. Not only that, vyagra taskaradi aneka bhaya anartha vratavitam aranyam praveshitah. He is made to enter a forest, which is what? Yutam, which is endowed, possessed of. Anartha vratavitam, possessed of a whole host of calamities. Anartha. What kind of calamities? What kind of potential source of misery? Vyagra. He can hear, the sounds of animals. He can see the roar of lions and roar of the tigers and what, would happen. Taskara. So other human beings are not there. But Taskara, the thieves and robbers can be very much there. So that's what he's totally scared. Aneka bhaya anartha vratayutam aranyam. So many sources of fear, many frightening things are there in this forest. The forest consisting of many frightening things, such as tigers, such as thieves, etc. Dukkhartah, and therefore he is suffering, he is very much sad, unhappy, sorrowful. Vikroshan. So now there is a keen desire for being released. The important thing is this. How this person has a strong desire, the only desire of being released from this. Dukkhartah, because he is tremendously suffering from, he is being tortured. And he wants to become free from this torture. That is very important. So, bandhanebhya mumukshuhu. Mukshu means moktumichu. One who is desirous of becoming released from this bondage. So what does he do with that desire? Vikroshan. Therefore he shouts, he seeks help. As the Swamiji says, that seeking help is living intelligently. When you need help, you should seek help. And therefore this person does not know what to do, therefore seeking help. Vikroshan, he is shouting, seeking help. Mumukshu tishtari avinagdakshoham gandharebhyah avinagdakshev visrushtahayati. I've been brought here from Gandhara and I've been released here with my eyes blindfolded. So this is his story. This is a mumukshu. So mokshecha, moksha me bhuyat iti ichha. The only desire left in a mumukshu is for moksha. All the desires are resolved in one desire, and that is desire for moksha or liberation. That's all you want, nothing else. So when would you want to be liberated? When you cannot put up with the existing situation even for a moment. If you are comfortable with what you are, there may not be a keen desire for liberation. But you are miserable. And so miserable that you cannot put up with it even for a moment, and the only thing you want is, when am I going to be released from this? Moksha. So this is important. The final qualification for a seeker is mumukshutvam, a keen, not just desire, a keen desire for liberation. Where all the desires are reduced to one desire, namely desire for liberation. Tishtati, he is there in the forest, in this situation. Saha kathanchideva karunikena kenachit mokshitaha. Kenachit karunikena kathanchit. Somehow he comes across, with some compassionate person, which you don't expect. Atijane desha. The thieves brought him to a place which was totally devoid of any human presence, so you don't expect a human being. Kathanchit. Somehow, it must be his great fortune that somebody came along. Karunikena. Not only that, but that person is very kind or compassionate. Understand, he is himself free. That fellow's hands are not tied. He is not blindfolded. So this compassionate person who comes along himself is free. He can see, his hands are free, and he is also karunika, he is also very kind or compassionate. Mokshitaha. So how did he happen to come across a person like that? Kathan somehow. Which must be the result of his past punya karma. His papa karma brought him to the situation of misery, but his punya karma, because of that, he happens to come across, or somebody comes along, the right person comes along. Mokshitaha. This person is released from his blindfold and released from the bondage. Swadeshan gandharaneva apanna. Finally, as we said, not only receives instructions, but he also has the wisdom, has the insight of following their instruction. So gandharaneva apanna. He reaches his country, his home back. Nirvutaha sukhi abhut. Nirvutaha means nirvana also is ananda. But nirvana means where there is a cessation of all sorrow. Basically, nirvana means cessation of all sorrow. So nirvana is described as the blowing off of the lamp, or the lamp is extinction of the lamp when all the fuel is burnt out. When all the fuel is burnt out, how the flame gets extinguished. Similarly also, when all suffering is gone, then you are in a state called nirvana. So nirvana means cessation of all pain and sorrow. Sukhi abhut. At the same time, you also got established in the happiness. So cessation of all sorrow, because of what all had happened to him in the forest. Having come to his home, Sukhi abhut, he became extremely happy. So this is the illustration, has been properly explained by Bhashyakara. Darshtantikam vyachaste. Now, the Darshtantika is explained by Bhashyakara. In the third line now, page 279. Evameva sataha jagadatmanaha swarupat tejo bannadimayam deharnyam Vatavitta kapha Rudirmedo mamsa Asthimajja shukra Krimutta purishavata Shitoshnadi Anekadvandva Sukha dukkha vaccha Idam mohapata Avinadakshaha Bharya Putra Mitra Pasubandhvadi Drishta Drishta Aneka Vishaya Trishna Pasitaha punya punya taskaraihi praveshitah. So svavishayebhya gandharebhya aranyam praveshitah. That person was brought from his country and brought and left into a forest. So here also, svavishayebhya, swadeshebhya, swasthanebhya, gandharebhya. So Jivatma, then if that person is brought from his own place, Jivatma also is brought from his own place where? Satah Jagadatmanah. He is now distracted from, taken away from Sat, which is what? His own Swarupa. So what is his own Desha? For a Jivatma, what is his own home? His own country? His Sat, existence. Chidananda. And what is that Sat? Jagadatmanah. Jagat Atma Swarupam Vastavam Ityartha. That Sat is Jagata Atma, the very Atma, the self of the entire universe. Meaning, that means Advitiyam. When you say that the self is the self of the universe, means that only one self and nothing else. So Ekameva Advitiyam. That is his nature, that is his home. So ultimately the home that we reach is this home, because we have been divorced from that. We have been distracted from that. Just as the water is evaporated from the ocean, and therefore pure water as clouds is, and as river also, is completely distracted from, deviated from, snatched away from the ocean, from its own source. So also Jivatma is in fact divorced from his own source. So Vaishnavas have this, what they call the Brahma Sambandha mantra. They have been separated from Lord Krishna for thousands of years. Now I want to go back to him. So I am his servant. So here also Jivatma has been divorced from his own source, his own nature, his Sat, the very self of the entire universe. Na kevalam, says the line 23, na kevalam jagadeva swarupam kintu swatmanopi. Sat is not merely swarupam, the essential nature of the Jagat, but Swatmanopi, essential nature of his own self, says Swarupat. Anita is brought from his own Swarupa by the thieves. Then Aranyam Praveshitah, Deharanyam Praveshitah. Bhashyakara says this body itself is aranya. Adu karma prasangat kalayati kalusham matrukukshav sthitam mam. As says Shankaracharya, how my karma have brought me into the womb of my mother, where I am suffering from a variety of miseries. And therefore he brought into this body, which means identification with the body, really. So in this case, he is brought to the body, but with the habit or the vasana of naturally identifying with the body. So the aranya, the forest of the body, is described by Bhashyakara. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, air, bile, and phlegm, these three doshas are there. Then Saptadhatu, Rudhira, Medha, Mamsa, Asthi, Majja, Shukra, and Tvak. Tvak, Rudira. Then Medaha, Mamsa, Asthi, Majja, Shukra, the Saptadhatava. The skin, the blood, the fat, the flesh, bone, and then Majja. Majja means the marrow, Shukra, the semen. So this body consisting of these Saptadhatus. Mutra Purishavata, and it is a container of this filthy things such as the urine and the fecus. So this is Aranya. Further, Aranya is a tough place to live because, as our Swami used to say, living in Rishikesh is tapasarya. But every season is suffering every season. The summer is so hot, the winter is so cold, and monsoon is monsoon. So also, living in the forest itself is tapasarya. Because Shitoshnadi Aneka Dvandva Sukha. This forest of the body is further possessed of Shitoshnadi, all the Dvandva or the pairs of opposites such as Shita and Ushna, heat and cold, Adi. So Adi Shabdena, no, there are different Adis here. Vayavakasho gruhya. Yeah. So tejo bannadi mayam, Tej abba annadi anna, adi. What is that adi? Vayavakasho gruhyate. So Bhashyakara mentions the three elements, the fire, water and earth, which is the context here in the 6th chapter. But Anandagiri says that the three elements should be understood as 5 elements. So Vayu Akasha Gruhyate is brought to the body which is made up of the 5 elements. Tejo Bannadi Mayam. Mayam is Mayat Vikarartha, the modifications of the 5 elements. Deharanyasya Aneka Anartha Sankaratvam Kathayati. Going to the other tika, Swarupat Avakrushayati. So he has been separated from his own Swarupa, Avakrushya, pulled away from his own Swarupa. Deharanyam Praveshta Anvayaha, right? Deharanyam Vishinasti Vada Ityadina. Both the Tikakara say the same thing. Shitoshna Ityadina cha, Punya Papadi Ityadi Shabdena cha, Mishram Karma Gruhyate. Shitoshnadi. Idea is that the Dvandva comes of pleasure and pain. Heat and cold or pleasure and pain. So pleasure is the result of Punya Karma. Pain is the result of Papa Karma. Therefore, Mishram Karma Gruhyate. Shitoshnadi is Punya Punyadina. So, when you are born as a human being, you have in your star storage both the causes, the punya and papa. Therefore, in our life, there is pleasure as well as pain, mishram. Swami says we are all mishra, Anishtam, ishtam, mishram cha, trividam, karmana phalam, we are all mishras. Because anishtam, papa karma, ishtam, punya karma. Mishram cha, human birth is the result of papa and punya. Andhika says, Shitoshnadi Adipadena Ragadveshadi Dvandvam Gruhitam. So, Anandagiri says, Shitoshnadi, Shita, Ushna, etc. you should understand all the dvandvas, all pairs of opposites. Raga, dveshadi, raga, dvesha, etc. So mana, apmana, stuti, ninda, all of these pairs of opposites we should understand. Tena anekena dvandvena jadam sukham dukkham cha tat upetamidam deharanyam ityedata. See, if this forest of the body only consisted of pain, then you would perhaps get used to it. But unfortunately, in the midst of pain, some pleasure comes. Then again pain comes. So therefore the pain becomes more painful because you know that there is pleasure. If you never experience the pleasure, then pain also would not perhaps bother you, would not torture you. But because there are also moments of pleasure, therefore pain becomes more painful. When am I going to be released from this pain? So tena anekena dvandvena jatam sukham dukkham cha. Aneka dvandva, many pairs of opposites are there. Their mana gives you sukham, apamana gives you dukkham, stuti gives you sukham, ninda gives you dukkham, comfort gives you sukham, discomfort gives you dukkham. Tadupedam idam deharanyam. This deharanya consists of all of this. Meaning that once the identification of body happens, then all of these automatically follow. This Upanishad itself will say in the 8th chapter that the person who is identified with the body can never be free from the attack of all the dvandvas. Then says the Narayananda, Dehe Praveshanantaram Tenasa Tadatma Adhyasana, that will be said later. Okay, then Mohapada Abhinadakshaha. He is blindfolded. What's the blindfold? Mohapata. Mohapata Abhinadakshaha. Moha, the delusion, is like the blindfold. Bharya, Putra, Mitra, Pashu, Bandhvadi, Drushta, Drushta, Aneka Vishaya Trishna, Pashitaha. So, moha or ignorance. Ignorance is a blindfold over his eyes, and then his hands are tied again. So, what's that bondage of the hands? Trishna, the craving. Because when one is identified with the body, then there is craving, because body is insignificant and lacking in every aspect. The body is hunger, thirst, and body includes also the subtle body. So emotional needs are there, the physical needs are there, biological needs are there, emotional needs are there, intellectual needs are there, spiritual needs are there. One is needy everywhere. And therefore, there is naturally a identification or the liking for those who promise to fulfill that need. And there is also strong attachment for those who fulfill that need. And therefore there is trishna, the craving for them. And so human life is full of craving. The human heart craves for things. So craving is not only at the level of the taste or food. That craving is there. But a lot of emotional craving is there. You crave for company, you crave for love, you crave for all these things one craves for. Basically at the physical level one craves for the sense pleasures. Emotional level one craves for love, acceptance, affection. So at intellectual also one craves to learn new things, to see new things. There is a craving. So there are people who keep on traveling constantly. Every summer they go to different parts of the world. So they enjoy it, but then that, without that, they'll be miserable. So there is nothing wrong in doing something, but then if I am miserable without that, that's called craving. Otherwise, you may do things out of pleasure. But when you cannot do without them, that is craving. So much craving is there. Trishna pashita, Vishaya Trishna pashita, Aneka Vishaya Trishna pashita. He is bound by the Trishna or the craving for variety of things, variety of objects. What are they? Bharya, Putra, Mitra, the wife, Putra, son, friend, Pashu, the cattle, Bandhu, the relative, etc. So this Anagari Bandhuadeti, Adi Shabda, Mitra Kshetradi Vishaya. How many things can Bhashyakara include? So Mitra, add friend, Kshetra, add your field, Adi, then he also puts an Adi there. So Trishna Pashita. So just as in the illustration that man is blindfolded and his hands are tied, here also this jiva is blindfolded with the ignorance. His hands are tied with variety of trishnas or cravings. Punya punyadi taskarai praveshita. Who has brought him? Adu karma prasangat kalayati kalusham. It is karma that brings this jiva into the womb of the mother. It is karma that creates this body, and ignorance creates identification of the body. Karma only creates body. It is ignorance that creates adhyasa or superimposition. Meaning that you may have body, but if you do not have the ignorance, avaram is not there, vikshepa, the form of adhyasa also would not be there. So it is not that just because one has the body, that one is necessarily identified with the body. You can have the body without the identification if you are free from ignorance. But here, blindfolded, born with ignorance, and therefore naturally identification with the body. And therefore identification with all those who are related or connected to the body. So punya punyadi taskarehi praveshita. Punya also is called taskara. Apunya papa is called taskara, of course, but punya also is called taskara. It's also called the thief, because it is what they call golden shackle. One is the iron shackle, the papa, other is the golden shackle. But shackle nevertheless, because punya also makes you take another birth. In moment there is another birth, there is identification, and identification means misery. Says Anandagiri, punya punyaditi adipadam avidya kamavasana sangrahartham. Not only punya and papa, but avidya, kama, karma, that's how it is. Avidya, then kama, puryashtakam, all of this is together. Then desire is there, karma is there, then vasana is there. So when you do things, something again and again, then it becomes a tendency in you to do it without any thought. In the beginning, you do something deliberately. But when you do it again and again and again, it becomes a habit. Then it gets done. In the beginning, you do it. Then in the course of time, it gets done. That's called vasana. When things get done without your deliberation, that is called vasana. So punya adipadam avidya kama vasana sangrahartham. So avidya, kama, vasana, karma, all of these together has brought him to this body and identification of the body. Gita annagiri deharanyam pravishtasya jantoho vikroshana prakaram sakaranam suchayati. That man who has been brought into forest shouts for help, seeks help. So also this poor Jivatma also is constantly shouting for help. Vikroshana prakaram. How does he shout? Meaning, how does he express his suffering? So says Bhashyakara further. Or as the other Tika says, Dehe praveshanantaram tena sa tadatma adhyasamaha. As soon as the Jivatma is brought to the body, there is tadatma adhyasa, identification in the body. Because of which what happens? Ahamiti. So Bhashyakara says, Aham amushya putraha mama ete bandhavaha sukhi aham dukhi mudaha panditaha dharmikaha bandhuman dharmikaha बंधुमान जातः मृतः जीर्णः पापी पुत्र में मृतः धनम में नष्टम आहतोस्मि कथं जीविष्यामि कामे गतिः किं मे त्राणम् इति. So this is how this poor fellow is wailing. So when they are in tremendous pain, then how the women wail, And they came, and while expressing what has all happened to them. This is what my mother-in-law did, this is what my husband did, and that's how they shout and then express their pain. This man also. Aham amushya putso. First of all, aham. Because of the identification of the body, he says, Aham amushya putraha, I'm the son of so and so. Then pitradishu mamata adhyasamaha. As soon as aham is there, then mama, the sixth case, also will be there. Mama ede bandhavaha. These are all my relatives. Ahankara, mamakara. Antahkarana tadatma adhyasam tad dharma adhyasamaha. Then again there is identification antahkarana. So then there is identification the dharma of the antahkarana. So whatever are the dharma or the attributes of the mind becomes these attributes. Sukhi aham, dukhi, muda. So antahkarana, sattva guna, sukhi aham, rajo guna, dukhi aham, tamo guna, mudoham. Then Panditaha, Dharmikaha. So Pandita also is the attribute of the mind or intellect. So I am a very learned person. Dharmikaha, I am a very religious person. Each one of these is a notion or a granthi or a complex. And each complex is the source of potential misery. And so Panditaha, as Bhartari says, Jnane Vada Bhayam, when you are identified with or proud of your knowledge, there was a fear of somebody coming and defeating you in the debate, Shastartha. Dharmikaha, Kule Chuti Bhayam. So when you are identified with the Kula or the lineage, always fear of Chuti, of falling, meaning not being able to live up to your lineage. So dharmika, always fear that I might somehow perform adharma, and so I may be somehow deviated from dharma. So you have to be very careful. Every step you have to be careful. Dehadhyasayadukam putradishu mamatadhyasamaha. So when there is dehadhyasa, then with putra etc., there is mamadhyasa. Bandhuman, I am possessed of the relatives. Dehadharmadhyasakam arthamaha. Then what this identity in the body does to him? Jataha, mrutaha, jirnaha. I am born, I am dying, I am old. Mamata adhyasaka anarthamaha. What anartha comes? Suffering comes because of mamata. Says, putra me mrutaha. So papi, putra me mrutaha, dhanam me nashtam. So every adhyasa brings about, is a potential source of misery. So identity with the putra. Then putra me mrutaha. My son is dead. Dhanam me nashtam. My wealth is robbed away. Ha hatosmi. I am killed, I am gone, I am dead. Katham jivishyami. How am I going to survive now? Kame gati. What will happen to me? Kim me tranam. Who will protect me? Iti. Then Bhashyakara says, Aneka shata sahasra anartha jalavan vikroshan iti aneka shata sahasra. Countless hundreds and thousands of anartha jalavan. And so trapped into the jala or the net of anartha, of suffering, of misery. Vikroshan, and that's how he is constantly wailing, crying, shouting. So this is the description of the Jivatma, the fellow who is blindfolded and who is tied, his hands are tied. Now he is seeking help, and fortunately somebody comes along to help him. We will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.